Welcome, everyone. Thank you for signing up and for joining this webinar. My name is Csaba Aman. I am a project manager at RushFiles, and I will be your host today. The topic of this webinar is the new web client, or web client 3.0. This is what we have been working on for a while now, and I'll also talk about when it is going to be released and what you need to know about the release. We have allocated 1 hour for this webinar, so we will finish at around 11 CET. Please know that it is recorded and a replay will be available after it is concluded. And to give maybe some other viewers time to join, I would first like to share the agenda with you. And for the rest of the webinar, you will be seeing my screen instead of my webcam. I hope that works for you because I have a lot to show. So just bear with me for a moment here while I share my screen here. And by the way, users or viewers, sorry, I keep saying users, but viewers that can only hear me but cannot see me, please click the play button on the video, and you'll be able to see my screen. So again, welcome to the webinar. The agenda for today is, as soon as I can turn the slides. So the agenda for today is to first talk about what is the web client, what is it used for, what is its main purpose, how does it look like today, and what were we going for with this in the new web client, what we wanted to change and what our vision was. After this, I will perform a live demo of web client 3.0 beta. I will be using one of our development/testing environments for this. And please keep in mind that I'm going to showcase a work in progress version of the client. And I'll be focusing on the improvements and new features mostly because, again, we have limited time and I would like to show you the highlights. And again, I'm going to use a development environment. So, well, hopefully we will not be visited by the demons today, but anything can happen. In any case, I will do my best to entertain you in the meantime. After this demo, I will summarize the details that you have to know about the release. Of course, I will be sharing these details as we go through the demo. Because some features I'm going to showcase will go hand in hand with or would not make much sense without me also giving you the context of the release. And of course, as a release detail, I will also share the date of the beta release. When it's all said and done, we will finish up with a questions and answers segment where I will await questions regarding today's topics, which is the demo, new web client, and the release. Any other questions, you're welcome to send to info@rushfiles.com, as well as any questions that I might not be able to answer today. You're welcome to send us at info@rushfiles.com. During the Q&A, we will enable private chat, so you will not have to worry about basically your chat showing up in the recording. But without further ado, let me jump into the first topic that we have here, the web client. So as you can see, the current iteration of the web client consists of two parts. The reseller control panel that you can see on the right side. So this is that you, the reseller, use to provision and manage your customers, as well as set up your branding. On the left side here is what we call simply the web client today. This is the client side of the web client. And this is available to administrators of the end user, so administrators of company accounts. This is also used to manage things, but rather than accounts, it is used to manage shares, users, groups, access rights and to restore history versions of files or deleted files. So again, there is an administrative focus here. This puts the web client in a pretty unique niche among the RushFiles clients. All the other client applications, the native clients, their main purpose and use case is to facilitate file sharing, to actually share the files and work with files, while the web client is focusing on administration. And as you can see of this on these pictures, the web client looks quite different from the native clients. So one of the things that we were going for with web client 3.0 is to unify the experience both between the reseller and the client side of the web client, as well as between the web client and other clients. So as you remember, we have already released a rewritten Mac client and mobile clients this year, with the mobile clients having a completely new design. And you will see the same design elements and design choices in Web Client 3.0, as you could see in the new mobile clients. With this new design, we wanted to give you a more powerful, but at the same time easier to use skinning option. I will be very excited to show this off. This will be in the beginning of the demo. Of course, we wanted to make it work a little bit better as well. Well, maybe not a little bit, but better in general. So we are focusing on on giving you a better UX, especially when handling large amount of items. For example, thousands of files have to be loaded or deleted or handled in the web client. And I will close out the demo with showcasing our new security features, which also will be coming with the beta release of the web client. So I hope that during the demo you will see these 4 points come across. And just before we jump in into the live demo, please remember again, this what I'm showing you is a beta version. Functionality that you see is not set in stone, and since it's a beta, we will appreciate any feedback that you may have. And well, let's start the demo. Let me just stop this presentation here. And before I start doing things, I will explain that I'll be using 2 browsers, maybe even 3, depending on how it goes, just so I can log in with multiple users and showcase some interactions here. So one in the main browser, I will log in with an admin user, and in the secondary browser, I will log in with an internal user only. Let me come back here to Chrome. And as you can see, there's this login with Google button. This represents a new feature where SSO can be allowed through identity providers that implement the OpenID Connect protocol. Google is just one of many services where this is possible. However, an identity provider needs to be configured on the server before anything is shown on the login screen. So this means that by default, you will not have this. This is depending on further configuration, and we will share more information about this feature later on. Let me simply log in with the tried and true way, just with a user created directly in RushFiles. So again, while you are taking in the site, many of you, well, I believe most of you, are seeing this for the very first time, unless you caught the small screenshot we included in the final reminder. I just wanted to mention that, as you can see, we loaded into the new web client straight away. And this is going to be like this to encourage new users to try it out. And again, to reiterate, our goals with this new design is to create a unified experience. So the icons that you can see here, the buttons, the font properties, The overall look and feel should be something that you're familiar with from the mobile clients. And this is what we would like to also implement later on in the desktop clients, so that when the long-term goal with this is that when a user logs in, they are familiar with the icon, with the whole design. They immediately feel at home. They know where they are at, and they know what app they are using. Um, and another aspect that I have mentioned earlier is that the client and the reseller sites are currently separated. So again, what we try to do is unify things. So since I logged in with a user that is both a reseller admin, I have access to the reseller mode. And at this point, I have to mention that currently only the skinning options are implemented in the reseller mode, as you can see here. And this is done so that you, as the reseller, can create the skinning of the new web client for your customers. However, the web client will be released without the rest of the reseller options, and that is so that we can push out the client side and we can get feedback from users while finalizing the new web client. Um, and let me just go back to the client mode here. And of course, since this is a beta client, it is still possible to use the old web client. So users can click the profile dropdown right here and switch back to the old web client, like so. So this is done on demand. And of course, users are encouraged to use the new web client. They can do so by clicking the banner right here. But again, both of these clients will be available throughout the beta period. And for reseller admins, please use the old reseller control panel, or rather the current reseller control panel, until we implement the rest of the reseller control panel functionalities. So with that, I wanted to first go through the skinning. And again, the purpose of including the reseller mode with the skinning was so that you as resellers can recreate your designs for your users. So before we jump in here, I would like to mention that your current design will be migrated one time when your installation is updated to Web Client 3.0. However, not everything will be migrated because, as you can see, the old and new Web Client are quite different. It is quite impossible to make sure that that the colors that you have on the old Web Client are corresponding in the new Web Client in a nice way, in an aesthetically pleasing way. So what we will do here is that we will migrate your company logo, your fav icon, and your site details, which means metadata such as your subdomain, uh, title in tab, so on and so forth. So what you will need to recreate is the colors here. And as you can see here, we have gone from a 30 plus colors in the same tab to a very simple customization here as default. But of course, if you would like to have the granular customization that we have available today, it is still available to you in the advanced customization, and you can see that you can change minor details of elements. But to do to recreate your design, simple customization should be more than enough, especially since we now have this preview down here, which is not only for show, it is actually a live preview. So before you accept or apply rather the skinning of the colors that you are changing, you have the chance to see what exactly this will affect. So I see that the primary color is basically going to be this header here, and then the icons in the share list, and that button over there, and my initials. And of course, if I want to create a design based on this color, I can just copy it and paste it in here, and then maybe make the secondary color a bit more pale. And again, I can see that this color is going to be applied to other users in the share list that are not mine. Once I click Save Changes, I'm not surprised what was changed because I saw it in the preview. And if I don't like one of these colors, I can just reset it. And again, if you would like to go down and customize these buttons, their highlights, the text inside, the text highlight, you still have the advanced customization. You will probably spend a lot of time here if you would like to do it that way. And also to help you here, we have a contrast ratio indicator as well, just to help you create a design that's accessible to users. So again, we wanted to make sure that you can recreate your own design in a much simpler way than it is available currently, and we hope that you will have fun doing so. So I will go back to the client mode, and I will give you about 10 to 20 seconds to gather your thoughts and perhaps write down some questions that you may have so that you can answer them in the Q&A section at the end. And now I will slowly transition into the next topic in the demo, which will be the share list. So the share list is, of course, a focal point of the web client since it is available to every single user, not only to admins. As you can see, it is available to the internal user as well. This is where file sharing is done in the web client. And before I click anything, I would like to highlight that now it is much easier to do multiple selection. In the current client, as you may be aware, you can only multiple select by holding the Shift key down while you click folders, and that only works if the folders are continuous. Right now, you can just use these checkboxes, which should make it much easier to manipulate multiple items. Another thing that we have here is the shared with column. Now, next to the user's name and initials, you can also see their access rights at a glance. And I should say roles instead of access rights because we have changed the designation of the write and read rights to editor role and viewer role, respectively, but they work the same way. So editor rights, again, this editor role is the same as the write rights. Users can download and manipulate data and access it. Viewer rights, they can only access the data but cannot manipulate it. And of course, owner returns as well. So this is kind of like a share admin. Even if my user was not an account admin, I'll be able to do these things here. So let me navigate inside the share. And as you can see, the icons are again returning from the mobile clients. And now I know at a glance that, for example, this was a PDF, this is an Excel file, it's PPT. One very cool feature about this new share list is that now all the URLs basically always point to the same path. So it makes it easy to share paths in the web client in between colleagues. So what I'm doing here is highlighting this URL, and I copy it, and I share it with my colleague, who is now this user in this other tab, and tell them to check a file here. I want them to check this PDF. So what I'm doing is just sending them this link. And since they are logged in with a user that has access to the same share as the one I'm sharing, it opens. And the same thing works when a file is open. So right now we just clicked the PDF, and I'm going to share that with my colleague. And again, the file opens in their browser since they are logged in. If I'm trying to share a path where the user does not have access to, for example, let me try to share the wallpapers folder here, then that will not work. As you can see. Another thing I wanted to show here is in the share list is that of course we can still manipulate data like before. We can manipulate data by the context menu on the right side, or if there's multiple selection, then it can be done from up here. So we can still delete files, restore, permanently delete. But one improvement here is that when you're trying to delete files like so, then then your browser has to send the delete requests one by one, and basically the end user will see that they'll have to wait until all the files that they have sent for deletion are deleted, and the web client cannot be used until that is performed. Of course, with 3 files, that might not be that apparent, but if it's when it comes to thousands of files, it might be it might take a little bit longer. So what we have done here is that when deleting or restoring or permanently deleting a folder, then instead of deleting everything and user having to wait for that, we simply delete the top folder right here, and the rest of the data structure underneath this folder is sent to the server or to a backend service rather on the server to perform this task when it is able to. So this service is running periodically. Currently, it's configured to run every 1 minute, and of course, depending on its how occupied it is, the deletion itself will happen with a delay. However, since the top folder is deleted, the files underneath will not be available to users in any client, not even in the native clients, and the user will receive an immediate feedback that the folder is deleted. And of course, the upside is that the user does not have to worry about this. The folder was deleted, and they can just continue using the web client. And as I mentioned, this is well, as I mentioned, this is also true of permanent deletion and restoration. Let me just do the restoration now. Again, this is done as a job, so these files will be recovered when the backend service is able to do so. Should be in a few minutes. However, this is not implemented completely yet. It will be before the client is shipped to you. So I do have to do this manually in this demo. But again, this is something that will be available when it is shipped to you. So this was a pretty long segment. I would like to again give you a few seconds, a few tens of seconds to gather your thoughts and perhaps write down some questions. And it is good that I gave you some seconds because it seems that I needed them as well. I did forget to show you public links, so let me make up for that and do it right now. So of course, one of the main features of the share list is the public links. We can still create them, of course. We have the same functionality available. We can create, or we can choose an expiry time. We can add the personal message. We can add a password protection as well, which I've done so. And once I create the link, I see the link, and I can share it with others just like before. And let me try to access it so that you see the new public link page. You can see it is completely in line with the new web client design. And you might be wondering, why did I not have to add my password when it's protected? Well, it is because I am logged in with a user that is the owner of this link. So I do not have to prove that I do have access to this file. And it should be more convenient for link owners to open to access their own links. However, if I share this with my colleague again, they will have to actually type in the password since they are not the owners. One improvement here as well is that users can now change the language of the link while a dialog is open. So if the link is shared with a person that does not speak the language of the company, they can easily switch to one here using the dropdown. So let me type in the correct password, and then we have access to the link as well here. So moving on, I don't think I have to give you too much time for this. This was a quite small segment, but I felt like it needed to be shown, even though I will talk a little bit more about public links later on in the context of new features. But let me maybe move on to the administration section a little bit. I want to touch upon the manage shares, manage groups, and manage users menus. So as I mentioned in the beginning, the web client is used for managing shares, groups, and users. So that means that we did not change what is not broken. They do work very similarly as they worked before. However, what we did here is that we have changed the labels of these menus so that they are more descriptive. So the share menu becomes manage shares, which is more descriptive. It's more apparent what this menu does. Again, group became manage groups. User became manage users. So let me just try to show you quickly how shares are created in exactly the same way. I create a share called test, and now I can add groups and users. Again, I just choose their roles and I click save. And my new share is created with those users added with those roles. Again, shares can be renamed. You can always remove a user, change user access, or delete them as well. Groups, it's exactly the same concept here. Create a group, add users, remove users, delete groups. And of course, you can also add groups to shares here. The manage users is also largely unchanged. One new feature or improvement here is that now admins have the ability to change the name of their users, which might come in handy. Maybe some users can be bothered to to change their name, and it falls to the admin to do this. Now they can do it easily. And of course, users can be added to shares and groups in this menu as well. Again, I would like to give you just a few seconds now, and also for myself to gather my thoughts for the next segment here. So the next and final part of the demo would be the new security features that I have mentioned before. And some of you might have already noticed this manage devices menu right here, which is not available in the current version of the web client. So if I click this, I can see that that this option is not enabled by my reseller. So let us do that. As I mentioned, the reseller mode currently only has the skinning to make sure that you can actually create a new skinning in the new web client, but otherwise, everything else has to be performed in the current reseller control panel. So let us do that. So we just need to find our account. And as you can see, there is a new toggle here called Advanced Features. Now, there are a few things you need to know about this. The Advanced Features contains 3 sets of features. First is the Advanced Public Link settings. Second is the device management that I wanted to access just before, and IP whitelisting. It is only possible to enable or disable them in a bundle, and they can be controlled. Their access can be controlled by a company and not by sub-resellers. So let me turn them on, save, and let's go back to the client side. And instead of starting with the managed devices, which is actually now available, let me start with the advanced public links, because that would be something that that's already familiar to you. So again, with these advanced features enabled, we now have access to advanced public links as well. So that means that when we try to create a public link here, we now have a bunch of other options. The first one is the link type. So now we have 3 types of links, preview and download. This is exactly the same as in the current client. So users can preview files and download them. We also have the preview link type. That means that users can only preview the file that's linked, but not download. Then we have download links, where the files can only be downloaded but not previewed. And in link types where download is allowed, you can also restrict the number of downloads. You still have to choose an expiry date and enable. We can also enable password protection, which I will not do now, because with access to the advanced public links, we have another way to validate user access, which we will see in the next page after I click create. So as you can see, I could now just copy the link and be done with it, or I can enable this toggle here that says share only with people on this list, and I can add a set of users that I want to share this link with. So I can either add users that are on my account. This will be offered here in a dropdown, or I can just type in the email address of some other people I want to show these or share this link with. So once I click confirm, these email addresses will receive an email from RushFiles that includes this link. There is a new template for this to be edited either by the company admin or the reseller admin. But let me copy this link and click confirm right here. So again, I am the owner of the link. And again, I did not have to validate my access. However, if another user wants to open this link, and given that they have good internet connection, of course, this would be a little bit faster, maybe if they were not streaming online. Anyway, until this is loading, I can still talk about. Of course, I can talk for days. So, with the public links, will be shown in the old web client. Maybe I can, by default, maybe I can show that as well, just in the meantime, even though it's loaded. So we can try to validate our access with a wrong email address, with an email address that is not on the list. And you can see that we could not do that. And we could do, now we try with an address that is on the list, and we could do it. And as you can see, when I'm not logged in with the user and I do not have a preference, I receive the link with the old web client's design. And also, any link can be converted between the old and the new web client. This is done based on the user's preference. Let me close this. And let me close this here as well. And let me come back to the main user. The next item on the advanced features list is the device management. So this consists of two menus. The first of them is the manage devices menu, and the other menu is the device management menu in the account settings. And by the way, we have split up the account settings menu into many submenus instead of showing everything on the same page. It should make it easier for admins to locate settings they want to change. So let me go back to the manage devices menu to keep it simple. So again, manage devices. Admins can manage the devices of users. As you can see, we can see all the devices that users are using to log in to our account. So what we can do here is, of course, approve and block devices. What I can do is I see that this user should not be logged in through Edge because of reasons. I just click block, and once it goes through, the user will cease to have API access in this device. So if I try to click links, it is just going to load for a long time, and after a while they will also be logged out, but their access will be stopped immediately as soon as the device is blocked. Also, new logins from new devices will have to be approved by a select set of admins, which can be created here. So right now, well, the only admin user available on the account is added as a so-called device approver. So what happens is that when a user tries to log in with an unknown device, well, a new login with an unknown device, then by default, they will be put on hold. All the device approvers on this list will receive an email about this, that also contains, next to the user's details, the client details, their IP address. It also contains a link to manage shares, where then they can approve or block the device. So maybe let's see this in action. So I'll open Brave, which is should not be a known device. It is not a known device. Great. So let's try to log in here. And let's try to log in with, well, let's do it with the secondary user. They got tired of not being able to access the web client through Edge, so now they're trying Brave. And for some reason, Brave is in Danish, but we have already switched to English. So as you can see, the message the user receives is that a new device was detected. Their login attempt was recorded, and it was the device was sent for approval. And an email will be sent as soon as the device is approved or blocked. Now, again, all these emails that the system sends are available to customize in the email templates section. Right here, you see we have the we also have this shared link, and also with the passwords well, flavor or subtype. So if you have both email sharing and password on the same link. And then, of course, the device approval and blocking templates are available here as well. And again, these are also available to you as a reseller, since I might not have mentioned, but these new features are available in the old web client as well. I will show this in just a few seconds. But first, let's try to approve the device. As you can see, for some reason, it is detected as Chrome, but it is a new device. And now we should be able to log in. Which we are. And I mentioned that this is all available in the old web client. Let me show you that. Again, switching back to the old web client is as easy as clicking that button over there, and the email templates are available right here. And again, as the reseller, you have the same options available. So I would like to maybe change these as a sub-reseller. And with that out of the way, let me go back to the client, as the advanced features set has a final feature here. But before I do that, I'll give you a few seconds to gather your thoughts and perhaps write down some questions. So the final feature of this feature set is IP whitelisting, which has a similar use case to manage devices, but instead of managing or designating devices that are safe to access our account with, we're designating locations that are safe to access from. So what we or networks rather instead of locations. So what we can do in this IP whitelisting menu is create, well, whitelisted IP address ranges. What I could do here is perhaps create a rule called HQ, and as the banner here says, I should make sure that my own IP address is in the list, because as soon as an IP range is whitelisted, it means that everything else is blacklisted. And if my IP address is not whitelisted, it means I will lose API access immediately, just as with device management. In case some administrator does not follow this advice here, and they log themselves out of the account, you can, as a reseller, you can help them by disabling advanced features from their account. So I'll just save the settings here, and as you can see, I can still do things. I still have API access, but let me remove this and save the settings just to make sure that nothing will go awry, and I can still show you things in the web client if some questions deem it necessary. Again, I will allow you a few seconds, and then we will jump into the last part of this presentation. Well, the second to last part, the release details. So again, this brings us to the end of the live demo. These were the features that I wanted to highlight to you today. I hope that you enjoyed watching it, and that you learned how it is going to work. And I believe now it would be the time to maybe touch on the details of the release. And for that, I will go to my presentation again. And you should be seeing that right now. So I have already shared some of these details during the demo, but let me sum it all up. So first and foremost, this is a beta version. It will be released as a beta version, and that means that we would very much appreciate any feedback that you or your users have. We would like to work together with you to deliver the desired experience to users based on their feedback. Of course, if any hiccups are encountered, users can always switch back to the old web client, as I have showcased, and but they are always encouraged to use the web client, the new web client, of course. The reseller control panel in its full form is coming later on. What we have today is a segment of that, the skinning, so that you can create your own design in the new web client. The advanced features that I have showcased are going to be available on all installations during the beta period, and afterwards they will be available depending on your agreement with us. So please make sure to give it a try. And we will announce the end of the beta period in due time, but it will not happen before the reseller control panel is fully available as well. The current logos, favicons, and metadata that you have currently set for your accounts is going to be migrated one time at the time of update. However, colors will not, so that will give you a clean slate to create your design in the new web client. And also, after this migration is a one-time thing. So after this, the design on the older client and the new one are completely separate, even the logos, favicons, and the metadata. So whatever you do in the older client related to skinning is not going to carry over to the new web client, and vice versa. And what we will have is a stage release, meaning that we will update partners in smaller batches instead of everybody at the same time. And you might be excited to hear that this new web client will be coming before the end of the year. The stage release will be starting on the 5th of December, and we are foreseeing that we will update every one of our partners in 1 week. So that means your installation will be updated between the 5th and the 9th of December. We will send out release notes and the exact release date at least 2 weeks before the release, before the scheduled release. And if you already have a date in mind that would work for you, you are welcome to share it with us, and we will prioritize your update accordingly. And that brings us to the end of me talking for 50 minutes straight. I hope that I did not bore anybody too much. So again, I would like to encourage everybody to come with some questions regarding the new web client or the release. I will enable chat in just a moment. And I will wait 1 or 2 minutes to see what questions you have for me, and make sure that I will answer those ones that multiple viewers send. If some of you are on smaller screens, then you might need to scroll down to see the chat window. So let me start addressing the questions here. And of course, I would like to start with that. If you do have a lot of questions, you're always welcome to send us by email, of course, info@rushfiles.com again. And yes, the demo will be available online. I'm not sure whether you can download it or not, but for sure you will be able to share it with your colleagues. And there was a question about any new server requirements. No, we do not have any new server requirements. We have one question here about searching for files in shares and subfolders. So that, well, let me just showcase that. If the share list would like to load. I can maybe try to do it. I'm logged out here, but I'm logged in here. It might also be that the daemon has finally hit us. No. So the search still works on the same folder. Does not iterate through items in subfolders because those items are not loaded unless the folder is open. And if we press the back button, it's still a one-page web app. So, but there is an improvement here. Thank you for the question there. The multiple select feature on the right-hand side menu looks great. Well, we do not have the context menu, the right-click context menu here, but this is a great question. What I would consider this would be a feedback, which is what we are looking for. If users require this right-hand menu, this right-click menu to make a comeback, we will, and there's of course a popular demand for it. We will of course listen to them, and this is one purpose of the beta release. But for now, the context menu can be opened with this so-called meatball menu right here, or in case of multiple select, it is available from the topmost meatballs menu. Yes, the collaborative work feature will continue in the new web client. Unfortunately, I cannot showcase that today, but of course, I mean, by a collaborative feature, you mean Office Online. It will continue working. After migrating your skinning design, well, your resellers, well, they choose if they want to make. So every single reseller, including you, will have to make a choice. Whether do you like the default colors, which you can see here, or do you not like them? If you do like them, then of course you don't have anything else to do, but keep in mind that it will be exactly the same. So orange, blue, white. So what you will have is your own color, your own subdomains, title in tab, so on and so forth. So if you are currently using some kind of a like a different colors, we would encourage everybody to play around with the new design. I think I have actually showcased this one. This is a repeat question here. So what happens if we press the back button when we're in a subfolder? So right now we are in a subfolder. I press the back button. Uh, um, it's basically the same as clicking the breadcrumb menu on the top. I hope I didn't misunderstand and this was the question, of course. But if there are no more questions, then we are actually right on time. I will still, since we are booked until 11, I will still leave time for last minute questions. Now is the time to do so. So if you are logged in, no. So you do not get signed out of the web client. What you have is when you log in, you receive a again, we are using OAuth. So each user has a refresh token and an access token. So and the refresh token is valid for 30 days. It's a sliding expiration. So unless the user is not using the client for 30 days, then tries to log in, then they will be logged out. Otherwise, the user will receive access as their access token will be refreshed with their still valid refresh token. I might have gone a little bit too technical here, but short answer is no. They will not be logged out. And this is going to be the same exact release procedure as before. So the release is done on our side. And of course, what is needed from your side is usually to make sure that after the update is applied, everything works correctly, and monitor user feedback. But otherwise, you do not have to do anything manual. And the clock has hit 11 sharp, and this is what we have had time for today. I hope that that you all liked what you saw, and that your questions have been answered in a well, with answers as you were looking for. Again, we will be happy to get back to you in email if you send us a question via email. Again, to info@rushfiles.com. And I'd like you to stay for a quick survey where you can give your opinion both about the new web client and the webinar. It will take 1 or 2 minutes of your time. We'll be really, really grateful for any feedback there. You will see this right after I stop the webinar. We'll also send out the link to the webinar recording as well. And thank you very much, and have a great day ahead.